Well, it's time to make some more sections so I can add another side to my quilt. I'm just about ready to do that again. So I've finished these little ones here. So I thought I'd let you see what I'm doing with those. Those are all stitched. And this one is all stitched. Okay. So those three different sizes there are done. And these two I've got pinned and ready to stitch. This one I've got down about here, and I'm working on this end of it. So we will do some stitching here, making more panels. As the quilt gets bigger, I have to make more panels before I can get a side on. So, but you know, these little panels, if you get several of them pinned up, and then they're just ready when you get ready to have a little chance to sit down and stitch. I should have counted how many little panels I put in this, but I didn't. Well, I haven't finished yet, but anyway, I haven't counted them. Let's go up the side of this one. When I'm stitching these, it's like you stitch every which way but loose, you know, just this way, that way, up, down, round, and about. How do you know when you got enough scraps? Again, that is something that's very individual. I like a lot, but you may not. And I like to keep adding until it all blends and appears as one unit. Almost like it was printed that way rather than constructed that way. I think in this quilt here, this strips and strings, the more you put on, the prettier the quilt gets. And it just entirely, it becomes one entity rather than just a scrap here and a scrap there. It all blends so well when you get enough. And it's just pretty like that to me. Let's see. I'm going to go up here and catch these two little ones. Let me see. Bring you down a little bit. Let you see a little bit closer what I'm doing here. If I can stay in camera, I'm the world's worst about migrating over to the edge, and then you can't see a thing. Okay, come back down here. Okay, let's see. I need to jump back over here while I'm here. Let's get you off of there. Catch this one right here. How are you doing on putting your sections together? Are you having trouble laying out your scraps, or do you find that one of the easiest parts of the whole thing? You know, for me, it's very easy, but it is a little time consuming. It's fiddly, and what I call fiddly, and it just takes a little bit of time to get all of them really positioned well, the way I want them, or think I want them. And how pleased are you that the amount of scraps that you're uh, being able to utilize? I am just loving it. There is so many scraps already in this quilt, and many more to come. And I'm loving it that it is taking down one of my stacks is already been utilized, and so I created another batch that I'm working out of, and uh, I can't wait till I get through that one. That really tells me you are eating up these scraps, Linda. Wonderful. And I'm really loving that I'm doing the circles because that's really giving me an opportunity to use all my fancy, soft, silky, flowy fabrics that you can't put in just anything, but you can certainly put them in those circles. The easier, softer, and easier they are to manipulate and work with, the better. Let's see. I might be able to come on down here. Get this line all the way down. Okay, I better tie that off before I yank out my thread. We had a beautiful sunshiny day today. I couldn't find a cloud in the sky when I went out, and it was just beautiful, beautiful baby blue sky, sunshine, about 50, 55 degrees, you know, perfectly warm in the sun. Now, a little chilly in the shade, but it's just really nice. No rain. Beautiful day. Okay, got another piece of this lilac here, so let's use it. Where's the end? There it is. Whoops. Okay, so let's straighten it out a little bit. Kind of kinky for sure. Okay, let's see where we leave off. Right down here. I'm going to finish off this long strand of brown. We What is your optimal length that you like a video to be on something like this when we're doing a particular project? Do you like a lot of short videos? Do you like, uh, let's say, do you like them around 30 minutes or do you like them around an hour, hour and 30 minutes? What is your optimal time period that you like to put on a video and work along with it or just view it on something like this when you're working a project? Let me know in the comments. That'll help me out to know how I can, better adjust my video lengths to make them work for you guys. For me, on something like this, 45 minutes to an hour is pretty decent. But I can back off, or I can splice videos together and make them longer. So it's doable for me. Whatever is best for you guys. Most of you in the past have been pretty happy with sitting around 45 minutes to an hour. So that's kind of where I've been hanging out at. And a few of you said it just doesn't matter because you can always stop it and start it back up again and all that. And that's certainly true. Uh, it's not that it has to be a certain time. But I know if you want to stitch along with me, 10 minutes is not going to cut it. We need 45 minutes or an hour to sit down and work together. And also, to really be able to show and demonstrate all facets of what I'm doing, it takes a little time, you know. And I do want to do these projects. I want to make a lot of videos because I want to bring you all the way through with me as I go, and not leave big gaps in the project that you haven't seen me work on these things. And so that's why I'm going to be making quite a few videos in each quilt project. Got a few layers here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 layers of fabric in the batting right in this section right here. Sometimes it gets a little dense. It's good for the quilt, but hard for my needle. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, get out. The other one. There you go. All right. I know I'm getting somewhere when I take a pin out. I rode along with my husband today. He had to go to town and pick up a piece of equipment he had worked on. And so it was such a beautiful day. I said, well, I'll just ride along with you. Just get out a little bit. I don't get out a whole lot. And he said, would you just like to stop by your favorite little resale shop? And I thought, well, I feel pretty decent, like I can stand a little while. So I said, yeah, let's do that. So he took me by. He sat in the car and waited on me. You know how men are in little shops. That's not their comfort zone. And so anyway, I went in and I just wanted to look at one thing, and that was their scarves, because I wanted to enlarge my variety if it was a good deal. And so they were on sale for $2 a scarf. Now, that is great when you realize that some of these scarves are very expensive, but any of them are way more than $2. So I thought, okay, I can handle that. Let me see if I can find something new to go in my quilt. And I found some really pretty ones that I'm going to show on my next quilt, circles quilt video. And also I asked the owner of the resale shop if after the first of the year, when I intend to go and make a video on how I shop for fabrics. I did one sometime back, but I'd like to do another one and show more detail. And I asked her, is that okay? Can I use your shop? Can I come in and photograph what I'm looking for and how I go through the racks and why I buy the items that I buy for my crafting. And she was so thrilled. She said, oh, that would be fun. And she said, I know that, people who follow your YouTube would really enjoy that. And a lot of people don't realize that if they're into making things with fabric, these thrift stores or resale shops is one of their best values. And so she was all for it. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We're going to do that after the holidays are over and everything's settled down and they've had a chance to restock and get their store organized again. And I'm going to do that. So I think that'll be very interesting. And even if you're not watching those videos, I will let you know when I post that particular. I'll make a video all on its own, not just part of that quilt series, but I will let you know when I get it posted, just in case you want to watch that. But it'll be a little ways down the road. But I was really pleased that she was very excited and said absolutely I could just free range the store and record and just make myself at home. So I thought, well, that's really nice of her. If any of you live in the Longview, Texas area, that is Elite Repeats 2. They have 2 stores in Longview, Texas, and the Elite Repeats 2 is my favorite. And that's where I mostly shop and have now for, probably 2 or 3 years. since I opened up the second one. Great quality of clothes, great variety, and great prices. Whether you're going to wear them or cut them up and play with them like I do. I do find things in there as I'm looking for my crafting stuff. I find things for me that I like to, and I wear them. And then when I get tired of them, I cut them up because I don't pay a whole lot for them to start with, and so that works really well. You're gonna fall in love with some of these scarves I got. Some of them are just really outstanding. I think I bought 15, and that's how many they had. Though they had a bunch more, but I found 15 that I really wanted to play with. Okay. And I haven't bought scarves as such just to go buy scarves probably in over a year or maybe longer, because last time I think I bought like 30, and I still have some of those, of course, but I've cut them up a lot and used them through a lot of projects. Okay, what am I looking for? I'm looking for thread. Let's see what I've got up here. I think I have here's a blue. I'll go from lilac to blue. And I've split this one. Come on, just nicely. There you go. There you go. You can do it. There you go. All right. The long one. It'll get me a ways down this piece, won't it? I'm going to sew these two, and then I'm going to make some more and sew them before I think before I put another side on, because I really like to do two sides at the same time. And it takes, right now, like I said, as the quilt is growing, it takes quite a few sections to work both sides. So, but when I work both sides, I can really see the quilt has grown. Okay, let's see. We have finished this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So we are ready to jump over here and do this one. Okay, so I think I will start in the middle and come down and around and end back up in the middle. When I get all the pieces done, then I come back, and where I've got lots of fabric, I go ahead and sew running stitches down through that, kind of like I'll show you here, kind of like this one. I added a row here, a couple of rows in this, and down center, and here, just because you don't want a lot of fabric that isn't sewn. This is quilted, and we need a lot of stitching in here to hold it. And so just because I get these little strippy sections down doesn't mean I don't have areas that I need to go back and put my quilting stitches in and make sure that all my fabric pieces have substantial stitching in them. You can't have too many scraps and you can't have too many stitches. You'll hear me say that over and over again for this quilt. It just lends itself to both. As many scraps as you want to use, strings and strips and bits and pieces. I mean, let's see, what's the smallest here? We have this little square, this little bit here. We have little strips. Whatever size scrap you got, you use it. Just if you're not, just throw it on top of something like I did this one right here. Give it a home. Don't let them stay orphans forever. Because they're not going to grow up. They're not going to get any bigger. So we got to use them the way they are. What stitches are you mostly using on yours? As I said, mostly I'm doing what I call an overcast stitch here. And a running stitch and sometimes a back stitch, but a back stitch that usually doesn't go all the way back to the other stitch. It ends up looking like a running stitch from the front side, but it's sewn like a back stitch. Those are the three basics that I'm doing. Occasionally I'll throw a few cross stitches in just where I want to maybe have a big area that I want to put some stitches like in the middle here. I might throw some cross stitches in there. I'll do some couching stitches over some of these small pieces. You can see that right here, what I call a couching stitch over that. And one lady says she calls it a bridging stitch. So whatever you call it, those are the ones that I'm using mostly, primarily. Not very many stitches, because again we're quilting. The quilting is a utility stitch. It's not like art, like embroidery stitching and things like that. You could embroidery this, but let me tell you, you'd be here probably for the next 5 years trying to embroider all these pieces. So, but if that's your game, well, more power to you. I just not you're more woman than I am. I say that, but the other thing about embroidery on something like this that's so scrappy is the scrappy takes over and overpowers the beautiful embroidery work. So it's kind of, to me, like fruitless to put that much stitching in when you can't really see it that well. Now, some of the other types of like on the landscape quilt, embroidery on that definitely will show up different on the scenes, because you can do so many things and give it that. Let's see. Enhance it with the embroidery stitches. The circles, not so much either. They're like this. The color and swirls and everything just would overpower any embroidering anyone would do on that. So if you really want to embroider something, the landscape quilt is the one that I would suggest you try. When you're doing your pieces like this, these little in-between pieces like that, they'll get away from you if you don't look for them and pay attention to find them and get them stitched down. And you want to put something in there to hold those little pieces down that's in between. And believe me, you will miss some. That's another reason to always take time to look over your pieces now and then, whether before you put them on or even afterwards. Keep looking over your quilts, and you'll be surprised how you'll find little things that you just totally overlooked, you didn't stitch. And so there's so much going on here that's easy to do. Twice now I've had to go back and stitch something that I just totally didn't stitch it. I didn't see it. I didn't get it when I was in the area or whatever. I just didn't do it. But as I was checking it again and again, I find those little pieces. And I do that periodically so that by the time I finish this top, pretty much I'll have found all those little things that have to be fixed. Don't worry about your strings unless they're just really bugging you, then snip it off, because as you use this little quilt, it's going to fray. Some of these edges are going to fray. That, like I said, is part of the charm of it. So just leave it alone. Let it do its thing. It's a scrappy quilt. It likes to be frayed. And fraying gives it texture and softness, believe it or not. You just don't want anything fraying out, and that's why we're stitching every edge. Another thing about a scrappy quilt, should something tear or come undone or anything like that, well, you can always take another scrap, put on top of it, and sew it down. It'll never know it got mended. It'll think it was always there. Let's see here. Better tie this one off. Do I have enough to go down? Yeah, I think while I'm here, I'll just make one of these extra little stitch rows with this little bit of thread I got. Just put a little running stitch up the center for quilting it. Of this little piece, and that's close enough. Okay, well, we'll take it down. Okay. All right, we're almost stitched this. Got to finish this, and then this, and do this side, and then come down and fill in my gappy places. Okay, but right now I'm going to take a break and go get something to snack on for dinner and see if my husband he's hungry. So see you all in a little while. Okay, it's time to put the next sashing strip on, so I thought I would show you again how I do that. Just starting with a couple of strips here down the seam, the last seam where we put the last row on. So now we're going to build a sashing strip across here. And let's see what I got here. I found some of these little blue leftover squares from something. So let's just see if they'll, yeah, they do good. That'll be a good one to go right in there. All right. Let's see. Now, let me not get in a hurry here and see what I can do here. There's a little interesting little stripe here. I wonder if it'll strip that way. It does. And take a few of the extra threads off here. Okay, let's see if we do it again and get a little straighter. Yeah, more the size I wanted. All right. Okay, let's split the difference here. I think I'm going to go all the way up on that because it's so much white up here. It's just very uninteresting. So I'm going to go up on that. Run it kind of on the outside edge so that I keep these colors in here going good. Okay, now that's going to take some of that off because that's a lot of color there. And I have this little piece here that I think I'm going to throw in here like this and blend between the sections there and just use it like a connector, okay? All right, what's next here? We got to connect to that. What we got over here? We got, that one looks pretty good for our next one there. Let's do, how about that? That looks pretty good. It's beginning to disappear into the background. That's what we want, the disappearing scraps. I'll take off this white selvage end. Keep it right in there. Let's see what we got here. I like this orange. You probably know I like it because it keeps popping up. Okay. Solids are the most difficult to break up, of course, because any fabric with a pattern on it helps to break itself up. So let's do that one across there, and that will break up that solid blue, yet give us plenty of blue there. Okay, let's run it down. Keeping this centered over our piece here. And what do we got left here? That piece is pretty wide. Let's see what we got. Got this piece here. It's a little too wide. Wonder if it will tear. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to have to cut me a strip. Okay. Get that up there. Get that in there. Okay. What next? Come on, scraps. Up here. There you go. Here's a interesting looking piece. It's a tie. Is it sewn? Yeah, it's a tie of some kind. Be kind of thick right there, I think. We'll save it for something different. Let's try this one right here. Keep our yellow theme going here. I think I will drop it down. Either that or put it across. How do I want to do this? Like that? Or just like that? Or just like that? Okay, first of all, let's take a smidgen off the side. That way our other colors come through on both sides that way. Okay, that looks pretty good. We could use a little tiny scrappy something right there. Okay, let's get this one cleaned up just a little bit. And I'm thinking that I might stick him right there. Overlap him a little bit. I like that. Okay, everything is disappearing into the quilt. That's when I know I'm getting it right. The more I can make it disappear, the better job I'm doing. And you know, it doesn't matter what fabric you're working in. Just making it disappear. Or be assimilated by the quilt. You just want it to be very difficult for people to, at one easy glance, know where all your sashing is. You want them to have to hunt for it. All right, come on, get down there and get straight. Okay. All right. That, and a little strip down here on the end would be nice. What do I want? Here's a little bit of darker blue. It It's a little bit worn. Let me clean up the edges a little bit on that. It's going to fray after I, but after I get it stitched, it will be controlled fraying. And that's okay, but I don't want to too much while I'm actually working on it. Give it some time to do its job otherwise. Okay, we can work with that. Okay, now I need to break this line up. What are we going to use? Got a nice, really scrappy string here. I think it'll work all the way through. Let's bring him about halfway up this one, across the orange, I think I can just keep it going. I think it's patterned enough that it's going to blend. Got it twisted here. Let me see if I can untwist it a little bit. Either that or just leave it alone and use it skinny down on this end. Okay, got it. Got it. That looks good. Now I need a little something, I think. Let's see what I got in my little scrub thing here. What if that one's a whole lot like that one. What if I do it this way? I like that. Okay. I got that one. Still looking for a little something right there. And you know what? I have this here that I can go up into that with it, and I think that would be a good design choice. Go up and cross this one. Okay. You know what? I wonder if I put it under that, if I would like it better. Can we sneak it under there? Come on. You know, I do think I like that better. It does the job, but gives a little bit more chance to blend. All right, what do you think? Right now, I'm thinking that this one's a little much. So what I'm going to do is just, I think, shorten it. Bring it down a little. Okay, now it's not too bad. And go back up and look at what we're doing here. And I think I'm going to take that snippet that I used and put it right there off that other one. Well, come on. There you go. All right. Now, This one is two, my eye goes right to it right there. I need to break it up. Let's find something to break it up with. Make like a little piece here. Okay, here's a little triangle. Let's just lay them in there like that. All right, that helps. Okay, we got that one in there, and this one is too much also. It's too much. My eye goes straight to it, so let's find something that I can break that up with. Let's try. There it is. Some of our black and white, maybe. Down here. Let's see what that will do. Clean up the edges. Some of these scraps have been residing in my tubs for quite a long time. And messing with them, they get frayed out sometimes pretty easy. Okay, here we go. Well, it's still just too much. I think I need something darker. Darker, Linda, try darker. Here's some black. Try what if we put a little bitty string of black down the center of the try that. Not liking that either. How about that? Not liking that either. Well, back to the drawing board. Let's see here. I got some of this. I want the green to show, but you know what? That'll work pretty good if I keep it to the side and let both fabrics come through. And yes, this is a lot of layers, but that's what it takes sometimes. It's one of the reasons I like my long, skinny, sharp milliner's needle. It works through these layers pretty good. Okay, that gives me the whites, but that just breaks it up. Nothing's glaring. Let's go check it down the line again and see if we have got a disappearing act. This one is I think, too big. Let's trim him down a little and lay him back in there. Oops. And I think he'll do the job now. All right. Looking good. By the time I add the stitches also help the thing to disappear, to be assimilated by the quilt. Once you get the stitching in there, it just, like, that's 50% of making it disappear. All right, but if you can get it where you want it beforehand, I think that's all looking good, don't you? I think that's going to work. All right. So now I'm going to have to stitch this, And I'll get that done. And then we'll be back and we'll put on another row together. Keep stitching.